So today I'm just sharing with you these altered candlesticks that I've made for Easter. I've just decorated them up with beautiful Tresors Deluxe trims and laces. These are not just for Easter though, they can be used perhaps as displays at any time of year, especially in your craft room. You could use them in your candy stations and just to put your trinkets in. Okay, so I have a quick DIY now for you, and I just say thank you for watching, and I hope everybody has a wonderful Easter. Bye. So what we are starting off with is a disposable ice cream container, any old ice cream container in the size that you like. This is just a nice shallow dish and it's not too big. What I did was I just cut one up like that. I cut the rim off the top of it, as you can see, and I used that as a pattern to cut my paper out. Then I ended up joining two pieces of paper together, and then I'm just going to glue that around there. As I glue it, I'm going to slide it up underneath the rim just to give it a really nice neat finish, and it will just meet at that side there. So I'll come back once that's done. Okay, that's all done. It's all glued on. I just used a tacky glue. I've covered my bottle up actually because the glue I use in this particular bottle is not the same as the glue, the bottle brand. I use a Helmar's tacky glue, but I think it's the Sullivan's brand bottle because it's nice and soft, so it's easy on my hand to squeeze. It has a very fine, quite a fine nib on the top there. It's a lovely little bottle. And I find tacky glue is very good for a lot of projects. Probably the only one I don't particularly like using it on would be a lace book, a soft fabric lace book, because it does dry a little bit harder. So I would stick to a fabric glue on a lace book. The next thing I'm going to do is I've got this beautiful applique from Tresors Deluxe. So we're going to be using that. I'm also going to be using a little bit of this one. As you can see, I've cut one end off for the other cup already, but I wanted you to see it attached, so obviously there was a piece up there. They are not quite the same color, but I don't think it's such a big difference that it will matter. The only reason I'm using that is because this doesn't quite go around the whole cup, so I need to sort of patch it up a little bit there. But before we use our appliques, we are going to put our, let me just put a little bit more glue down there. Be easier if I opened it. Okay, so, and it doesn't matter if you've got glue over there, it will dry nice and matte, this glue, so that's really good. Okay, so the next thing we're using is I'm using some of this gorgeous lace from Tresors Deluxe, and this is what the lace looks like. Gorgeous, and I need a special project for this top bit because it's really thick, luxurious lace. But what I'm using is I'm using the tassel-y bits down the bottom on my project, which I've already cut off, as you can see here. These little pieces here I'm going to be putting around the bottom of my cup before I put my appliques on. So to do that, all I'm going to do is put a bit of glue, and then I'm going to place it, but I'm kind of going to do it upside down because I find that it's a bit of a fiddly job. But if you you want it to be falling naturally, let me put it that way. So kind of put it in place first, and then you can sort of get an idea of how the actual lace piece will fall. And those little bits in between you've got to stick on too, otherwise they'll droop. and that's a little bit close, so you've got to have it so it's going to fall naturally. You don't want it too close and you don't want it too far away either. Perhaps a good indication would be if we look at the distance. See, the distance on the lace is that far apart, but I kind of want mine a little bit closer because that's how I found it hung the best. So I'm thinking, you know, like a finger apart perhaps would work well with this. And have your little coils aimed properly like that, so they're all perhaps nice and even. So what you want is for when you hold it up straight that it's hanging straight. You don't want it tilted inwards or anything like that. Okay, so as soon as you get the first couple how you want them, the rest should be quite easy just to match up with that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those on, and then I'll be back. Okay, they're all pretty much on now, and I fit 6 of those tassel-y bits around the bottom there. And so the next step is to put our applique on. I'm going to put the larger applique on, and I will, so that's the seam at the back. I don't want to start and stop everything in the same place, so I'll just take it over maybe a little bit like that. And this applique is a little bit wider than the actual cup, and I'm going to have a few little bits hanging up and falling down, and I'm good with that. This end piece I will trim off, because see how that goes up at the end like that? I can put that along here somewhere instead. So let me just trim that off carefully now. Okay, and to do this, all I'm going to do is run some glue along the top there, just underneath that rim. It doesn't need to be quite all the way because it's not that big. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue just on these little bits here, just to hold it down neatly like that. And then get our applique and put it there. And just gently press it down, because tacky glue takes a little bit longer to dry, not a lot longer, but a little bit longer to dry than some glues. So just tap it down where you want it, and at the end just a little bit of glue around your applique. Doesn't take a lot of glue because it's only sticking to paper. And it's not going to go through a lot of hard work, it's just sitting there looking pretty, isn't it? Trim off any little bits that need to be trimmed off to make it look pretty like that. The lovely thing about this container is you don't really have to cover the inside either. So that's our applique put on. Whoops. That's our applique put on. As you can see, we've got our dangles. And then we need to secure this side here as well, just so it sits down and doesn't fall off or anything. Sorry about that noise, but not much I can do about it. There's a little thread there, but sometimes when you've got beads and pearls, you don't want to be chopping every thread off because you might end up losing some beads and pearls and things. So I'll just secure that with a bit of glue. As you can see, I have this little piece here now, and I'm going to carefully cut this little bit here off. And that beautiful centerpiece there is left. So I didn't cut those off this time because last time I cut them off those 2 beads fell off, so I thought, well, I'll leave them on because they're obviously attached to this section. I can use that piece in another project, So we've got this little bit here and this little bit here to work with to fill in this. Now I can put that like that if I want to, and then have this little bit over here in the corner just to fix it all up, or I can go like that. That would probably work nice if I just do that. And that kind of blends it all in. By the time it's sat on a table or something, you'll never really notice it. So just don't need a lot of glue, like I said, it's only sticking to the paper. Pull it over a little like that, and this little piece here can go there like that, just sitting up there, and that will look kind of cute, I think. So I'll just stand up, little bottle. Like that. If you feel any pearls do feel a bit loose, just glue them on. I'm going to just cut that little tail off and pop it there in that little gap, just to, there we go. So that's our piece together applique. Like that, and that's the other side there, and that will work lovely. And that's how I made those. And all you do now is find the stand, obviously, that you want to use, and I'm using a very tarnished candlestick. This candlestick has a top like that, but I really don't want to be gluing anything to the top, so I'm taking that off, putting this in a safe spot, and I'm going to put some glue there. I may actually let me think. Here we go. When I buy washi tape, sometimes it comes with these little paper things. What I might do is glue that to there, and then glue the base to that. And on this, I'm going to use fabric glue, and the reason I'm going to do that is so it's easy for me to take off if I want to take it off, because I really like these candlesticks, and I really like this project, and it's very useful. But in a year's time or something like that, I may want to change it up. I may want to use my candlesticks for something, for candles. So I find if I use a bit of fabric glue, it will enable me to take them off safely at a later date. So let's try and just have a look. Make sure, turn it upside down, and you know, kind of gauge the center of your candlestick. And there we go. We have our lovely little candy dish made. I have some, where is it? I have some lovely shredded tissue paper that I got in my planner box this month, so I'm going to pop that in, there. So there's my pastel colours coming out for Easter. I don't know if I'll need any more than that. And I have these little mini eggs that I'm going to put in there. Let's see if this works. It may not work. It may not work. There we go. And that, they will sit on my table because we're having a morning tea. People will be able to just go and take one. Thank you for watching. Bye.